you are getting yet another opportunity to run it. Now on the 13th, all the Vice Chancellors of OU, Open Universities, are meeting online to prepare a very strong concept note to the UGC to ensure that the NCVET approval that you are likely to get is not once again jeopardized by the University Grants Commission. And there are other issues such as the one that Kerala has highlighted in terms of private universities registering students under private registration, which means private universities can register you as a student and you need not attend any course, any class. 3 years down the lane, you can go and get your certificate. It can come up to even that level of low quality but certification issuing body, which is something that Kerala Open University wants to fight, saying that if you give permission to everyone to carry on private registration, where are we? But that said, that problem is associated with our regular programs. Now what we tried discovering in Delhi and also in Haldwani is that we need not be only confined to offering programs. We can offer courses, we can offer other types of certifications. So we recognized that through NCVET approval, we would be allowed to create qualifications which are at 4.5 level and above for 3 types of target groups. The first type of target group, your existing student. Tamil Nadu has 45,000 students. Karnataka has 76,000 students. YC Maharashtra Open University has more than 2 lakh students. So we are varying from Tamil Nadu 40,000 to 2 lakh 70,000 in YC Maharashtra Open University. We discovered that we can offer to these 45,000 students to 270,000 students skill program on and above the existing degree that they are registered on, which is something all private universities do today. And if your son and your daughter, your brother, sister goes abroad, everyone does this. They go for a particular program, but they also come out of that system with additional certification. So we recognized that we can create qualifications at 4.5 level and above for the existing students. We also recognized that we can create the same qualifications and embed those qualifications as part of our existing curriculum. As we are revamping our curriculum, if you have a BSc chemistry program, you can remove certain courses and bring in the new skill-based courses that you are developing. And we recognize that even up to 50% you can do this. So a BA history student need not study only history for all his lifetime. He can study up to 50%, at least 50% history related subjects, but all the skill qualifications that we create can also be subsumed, which is something within your control. You have to take it to your board, academic committee, and get it approved. So the first target group is your own students, 45,000 in Tamil Nadu, 275,000 in Maharashtra, who can get additional certification. The second target is revamping your curriculum and subsuming skill-based courses so that when a student comes out of your system, comes out with academic qualifications but also with skills that are appropriate to the industry. And the third set of target groups that we discussed in Delhi and Haldwani are those outside the 45,000 in Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has what? 38 million people or 40 million people? 40 million, okay, so whatever number of million people. and you are only having 40,000 students. Now, you have a huge opportunity outside your student community. 400,000, 500,000, name it. So the third target group for Maharashtra, for Delhi, for all these states is outside your student community, which could be in government offices, which could be in the nearby industry, which could be unemployed students who are not interested in your programs or interested only in your certification. Skill-based employment-linked certification. So the world is opened up for you through NCVET. All these days you are confined, including Kerala, who is now complaining about the private registration. Now just if you see that as a problem, then you are not seizing the other opportunity. Of course that problem will take time to solve. But what is available for you is Kerala, a lot of unemployed graduates want to go to the Gulf or somewhere, but they don't have skills. If they have a certification from you, in addition to whatever graduate certificate they got from Mar Ivanivas College or whichever Kerala University or wherever, that certification is going to aid them. Think about the people who are outside that 45,000 or 270,000. You have millions for whom we can develop qualifications. This is what we learned. Yes or no? Because this yes or no idea was introduced by Rajesh Kambayat, right? Yes or no? Shall I proceed any further? Shall I? Okay. Now, I mentioned that you carried water in the bucket. Now you are going to carry water in that bottle. Because you can't carry bucket in an aeroplane. You can only carry a small sachet. Now think about this idea. Before C.P. Prahlad introduced a concept called bottom of the pyramid, we were selling shampoos in big bottles. Shampoos were sold in 50 ml, 100 ml bottles. 80% of India was not buying shampoo. But the moment that shampoo was brought down to 3 ml sachet, that 80% started buying. That's exactly happening in higher education today. Because you are selling 3-year program, only 40,000 want to enroll. The moment you package it small, you will have 400,000 people. How will they come up with a market? How did all these shampoo companies come up with their marketing technique? They made it affordable. They made it utility oriented. They also made it aligned to the aspirations of people. Why only you should shampoo your hair and look nice? Why can't the person who cannot afford that 50 ml bottle also obtain a shampoo sachet and also look good? The beauty industry capitalized on it. Education industry never moved. Education industry continued to package in 3-year program, 2-year program, now we are calling 4-year program. I am not blaming the universities. The system overall was only ripe for those people who wanted to enter the tertiary education. Why people want to enter tertiary education? To get employed or to find that 2% employer's job. Who is the 2% employer in our country? Government. We are so obsessed with government, right? Only 2% employment. 98% is outside government or paying well. But, we go to the streets, even Bangladesh issue is all around reservation, right? But anyway, the riot came about. But the whole thing is, we are only able to cater to those people who are deciding to take that degree as a conduit for finding employment. Now 60% of those who are signing up to becoming graduates are now Swiggy transporters. They are running Olas and Ubers and Zomatos. Unfortunately, in many metropolitan cities, a large number of graduates who are joining universities and colleges or having to find ways to earn money. So the situation is very interesting for us at this point in time, where we have to think about beyond the 45,000, beyond this 270,000 in a sachet model. That's why micro-credentials. And again, who are the target groups for the micro-credentials? The same three types that we discussed in Delhi and Haldwani. The same 45,000 students are your opportunity for micro-credentials, both within as part of your curriculum as well as part of skill enhancement. But the world is outside the 45,000 is waiting. Just take for example, this morning somebody mentioned about Karam Yogi Bharat. Now many of the government employees, particularly the front-end workers, do not have customer care skills. Can't open universities provide customer care skills for those government employees who need to behave well? Is it so difficult to create a micro-credential for them? All that you need is your Vice Chancellor and your skills director to go to a government department and say that this is the situation, do you want us to train? We are not giving you degree, we are not giving you diploma, we are giving you 1-day training program or a 3-day training program. So we have to come out of our comfort zone of only planning for 3 years, 2 years to 1-day, 2-day, 5-day program. There you can charge. You know what happened? 50 ml shampoo bottle was sold for 50 rupees. Now when they reduced it to 3 ml sachet, the same amount of shampoo where they were getting only 50 rupees, they were selling it for 200 rupees because they distributed. And people are willing to pay 2 rupees, 3 rupees for that small sachet. So the profit went up. All that you need was packaging. And this morning we said micro credential. Micro is quantity, duration, packaging, stackability. These are the 4 things we said. Credential is all about standards. And in India we have something called NOS, which Member Secretary this morning was mentioning as NOS. NOS. NOS is nothing but your standardized curriculum for any task, any competence, any skill that you want to inculcate. What is the skill that you want to provide to this government officers? To be little more customer friendly, to be little more citizen friendly. Now government will never do this training. Open universities could do. So we can think outside the box of thinking about a constituency that is waiting for us. I only took up a particular target group, which is a difficult target group, government employees. But you have an industry nearby. You have a company nearby. You have a range of opportunities that is outside you knocking. You don't have to go even 10 kilometers further than your university campus. You can identify so many people who would like to utilize your awarding capability. And now, how you are awarding? If I as a company train my employees, I'll only give them a badge. But what you are giving is a credit, which is monetized. Under APAR ID, it will be monetized in the academic bank of credit. Over a period of time, this person can actually convert that into a undergrad certificate, undergrad degree. So when we send our children to IIT, IIM or any premier institution, we say, beta, you're going for this, but also come with a micro degree. Also come up with a minor degree, whatever they call. You are doing textile engineering, but come up with a micro degree, minor degree in computer science. And many of them use that minor degree to progress in life. Open universities have a huge opportunity. So again, coming back to 3 constituencies that we have. One is our regular 45,000 students and 270,000 students, where they can take additional certificates. Again, the same 45,000 students and 275,000 students who could benefit from your micro-credential as part of their existing curriculum, where you are revamping your curriculum, which is aligned to the marketplace. The third area is 40 million people, 60 million people outside waiting. They could be in a company, they could be in a formal sector, informal sector, unemployed youth, Ola drivers, Uber drivers, anybody for that matter. There are so many aggregation companies who are looking for skills, importing skills among their constituencies so that they can enhance their profitable value and competitive value. So you have a huge opportunity outside. So I want to stop here by recalling why we are here and how this is relevant to us in our pursuit to become NCVET awarding body, getting the awarding body status, but also further enhancing our skill development unit. Because sooner than later, each of the 17 universities will have a directorate of skill development and vocational education and training, or some nomenclature which we always look up to Nidhi for the explanation. What is the nomenclature? No, for the center. Skill development. Center for Vocational Education, Training and Skill Development. Yeah, so that's a kind of a generic nomenclature that we came up with, which Dr. Kalsi also suggested. But we hope that something like EMPC or CEMPC or whatever you call it here, we'll also have a vocational education center within our institution, which would be steering, driving skill enhancement courses for the future. So we could have conducted this training had it not been for the perseverance of Dr. Chitra. We would have conducted this program only after 4 months. But they were very persistent, so we actually brought forward. It's too soon. From Delhi to Haldwani to Chennai, it's too soon. But ठीक है चलो हम महाबलीपुरम भी देखेंगे है ना. So it is too soon, but what we are learning today, tomorrow, day after, is it's exactly what we learned in Haldwani and Delhi. In Delhi we had a teaser. In Haldwani we kind of went inside the water. Now we are likely to swim. So this is my, as much I am addressing you, I am addressing Sushmana ji. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Shajak sir. Yes, it was really insightful for me. What I thought is a little different, but now I came to know that there are many buddies here who can join others and to do this icebreaker activity for this 3-day workshop. As you all got that handout with you, right? And there is a presentation on our 2 pages on SMART objectives. So I at least read out, or somebody who knows about writing, because you already participated in Haldwani. You might have come up with some objectives or outcomes for your program, right? Were they smart enough? Are they smart? What exactly is smart? Say, yeah, please, lady ma'am. Please answer. Okay, S is for? Specific. Yes, you all know that. You all know that.
So smart is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound.
Absolutely. That's what sir just told about affordability also, right? Attainable and affordable. So what I want is all of you to pair up with those buddies. Please raise your hands who are in Halwani. Okay, so you occupy each one of the tables so that others will join you. So you team up with others. Your choice. Or just shuffle. You can't be in the one table or in one room. I want 5 of you or 6 of you in one room where one buddy will be there. There should be inclusion. Why you are all there? Please, please. Sorry?
By default, there has been such an arrangement that one body is there and the rest of them are not there. Is it fine or I need to shift?
Okay, not there. That's fine. So all 5 of you. 3. Okay, here. He is there. You are there. And the other 2? You are there. Then you have a shift, no? Please. Let us do some fun activity. Let's not settle down after the lunch. I know lunch is really nice. Yeah, please. Yes? Yeah, they need one. Yes, please. Anji, they need. Please arrange yourself. Or one of you join here and request someone to move. Yeah, please. वो then दो है ना यहाँ पर नहीं please don't cheat. Yes. They say they are not well versed. Okay, now we are groups, 6 groups. May I name group 1 to group 3? This is group 1. Remember, group 1. Okay. Now we group 2. Only 3 of you. You 2 are there in Halwa. So group 1 and 2. यहाँ पे कितने? And you 2 are there in Halwani, right? You are there, but you can't do that. Please. Somebody else is not there. You are there.
Those who don't have the exposure, please put up.
Okay.
Let them choose. These 2, these 3 like that.
Okay. Please do that. Please do that.
You can choose us.
Actually, that's why we thought of this small speaker. Shall I read off names and shall I shuffle? No, right? Yeah. So I'm tracking you now. So please. Okay. So, no, you have to sit together. Yeah. Please. However it is. There is no inclusion and diversity, yeah? That you are separate, yes, Jana, Mandana, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. No, you have to. Okay. You are one group, right? Yes. 6. Okay. And यहाँ पे the problem is here. Please join here. Somebody, you can turn this chair. here. Who is coming? Please, Nene. Join me. So group 1, group 2, and this is only 3 of you. You are all there in one. So this is group 3, okay, group 4. This is group 4. Okay. 4. And this is 5. 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I'll give you quick 5 minutes. I'll time it. I'll give you very quick 5 minutes. I want you to think about Chandrak's words. He just spoke about what open universities can do. For example, he already gave a front office executives training, right? If at all you are coming up with a course on such kind of thing, besides that, think about any soft skill. Come up with a SMART object, which is specific, which is measurable, which is relevant. T is time. Yeah. 5 minutes I am giving you. You just think about a topic. That's it. In 5 minutes, think about a topic. In next 10 minutes, you will be writing that SMART object for that topic. Okay? Topic you decide in this 5 minutes. Yes, yes, yes. Thinking about the words which I spoke. What the universities can do for front office. Sorry? Group activities. Mull over and come up with one topic. It's 3:17 now. At 3:22, you will be presenting your topic name. If you are very smart, you would have taken what then? Anyway, I don't want to waste your time. Please go ahead. I'll be distracting. Just a topic and find think about just mull over about a topic. Two more minutes to come up with a topic. Just a one word phrase. Okay, then we'll see if there is any overlap. Then we will change. Okay. Time up. Group one. Group one is, what is your topic?
Our topic is physical comparison idea.
Okay. But we are talking about soft skills.
Soft skills I've chosen etiquettes. Etiquettes to be taken by
Our
We choose a topic communication skills for government employees.
We could type in all the names here from all the groups. Somebody can assist me to type all the whatever, or the topic names here. Yes, please volunteer for this. What happened? No, I want somebody to be part of this so that they can correct. Yeah, please, group 1 is about? No. Netiquette. Okay. Group 1 is netiquette. You can increase the font. Or you can join and type in it. You are ready with your smart.
just jotting it down.
Okay. Two is
communication skills for government employees.
Okay, group 3. Yes. Group 3, sir. Sir, we want your comment on this, Shadrach, sir. And then slowly they will become smart objectives for this. But before that, excuse me, let's listen to
What is putting us?
yeah. It's a very interesting topic, but I suggested something else. But then you look at this. Group 5.
This is group 5. Putting elders. What is it?
Actually, geriatrics.
Can you explain a bit?
Actually, in this 21st century, the biggest problem that we are all facing is that the number of elders are growing up. 60 plus the population is too large, and 30 plus is actually going fastly diminishing. And therefore, in the coming years of what you call in the evening, this time of the life, nobody will be there to look after these elders. And therefore, some soft skills should be developed within the family itself. In order to take what you call, the attitude should be different, the knowledge should be different, the way by which they should be fed, that these all aspects have been actually learned by the family members themselves. And therefore, this seems to be a good suggestion.
And you will be glad to know that SEMCA is creating a course on this. So, we have been invited by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment with this demand that they would like at least 50 million people to be trained in elder care. Now then we brainstormed, we agreed that we will create a course for family members to take care of the elderly people within the family. So there are several aspects that we are now, as we speak, mapping out together with the Ministry of Social Justice. And there is an institution called the National Institute of Social Defense, NISD, which is the government body for skilling. And they have been skilling people in a batch of 30 people. Now to train 50 million people, a batch of 30 people would mean they need 250 years to train. So then we decided that we create a course in consultation with NISD, a range of actors in the elder care industry, in the care economy, for the family members, for the able family members to take care of the cognitive, psychological, sociological, relationship, including issues like dementia and others. So a large portion of it is non-clinical, bathing, grooming, and even lifting, even putting them on the bed, and So we are doing all this through video kind of simulation, which would be translated into other languages. And on the 2nd of October, we are going to announce this course. So anyway, but the good news, the good news is that where do we deliver it? Do we deliver it in a centralized platform, or do we deliver through the 16, 17 open universities? So our interest is to do it through the OUs. So as we develop the course, when it is off-baked, we'll come to you for finish line. So kind of, if you consider the relay race, we are taking the first lap, and the second lap would be taken by the government. We'll come to you for the third and the fourth lap, and you will be the showstoppers. We'll finish the game, right? So we'll hand it over to you. So in that note, I want to also understand from the other 4 groups their thought process, and then maybe propose something as an idea, not as a kind of a top-down, exercise, but just as an idea. But this has been great. Group 4, effective leadership. This is Group 4.
Actually, this is very important because without leadership there is nothing. So we have taken this topic.
Customer relations.
Sir, nowadays the banking transactions are technology based, and not all customers are comfortable with technology. And in days of mobile banking and internet banking, there are many customers who might be rural based, so they may not have the kind of ease to do these transactions. So we are going to develop a course where we will impact the students with those skills which will help them assist such kinds of customers who either walk into the bank or probably have a call center kind of assistance within the bank.
I think the government was interested in developing a cadre of banking correspondence, what they call rural banking correspondence. At one stage, they wanted to have millions of these people assisting individuals in their banking needs. So what they call the business correspondence at the rural level. Communication skills for government employees, Group 2.
So Sir, actually, objective of this course, perennial problem is there is a communication. Normally, this what we perceive that government employee is not professional, so they are unable to communicate with public, and there is a report on misbehavior. There is report of lack of empathy, sympathy, all these things. To overcome this, we propose a program called communication skill for government employees. And the basic purpose to identify and apply the fundamental principles of effective communication, including clarity, conciseness, and active listening in government settings. And second is develop professional writing skills. Create clear, concise, and well-structured written documents such as reports, memos, emails tailored to diverse government audiences. And three is enhance verbal techniques. Demonstrate effective verbal communication techniques including public speaking, presentation, meeting, and convey information clearly and persuasively. Number 4, improve interpersonal communication. Apply strategies for building and maintaining professional relationships, including negotiation, conflict resolution skills in government environment. And fifth is utilize communication tools and technologies. Employ various communication tools and technology effectively, including social media, video conferencing, collaborative platform, and enhance government operation and outreach. And last one is adapt communication for diverse audiences. Tailor communication approaches address the need to diverse stakeholders, including colleagues, constituents, and other government entities. These are the objectives.
Had you given half an hour extra, they would have written the course itself. So elaborated. Very elaborated. The last group.
So Netiquettes is basically with the online education and online reputation management coming to see all the communication skills for government employees, customer relations for CA, essential for effective leadership. If I am not wrong, all these courses are to be done online. So they may be needed that people need to understand how they need to behave online when they are working as a learner or as a teacher. Netiquettes is nothing but internet etiquettes. It includes how you behave online while attending a class or while taking a class, or even if you are enrolling for a course, or it is a social media management or online reputation portfolio management. People need to know that how they should, just like in your regular life, you inculcate etiquettes and manners in your life. The same way how you should behave when you are using internet, whether it is internet ethics or safe internet. I guess it is the need of the hour that people need to understand how should be your profile picture, the name, the official IDs you enter with. People should know that they should raise your hand when you want to say something rather than people calling out your name and telling you to put off your mic. So there are a lot of things to be done in this. Thank you.
This is a good case study of how you could maybe the next 2 days approach gaining an understanding of creating like a credential. So you do seem to have a kind of a use case ready to test in the things to come. Now when it comes to Netiquette or course for the elderly or communicating skills for government employees, you would like to define the standards of the skills, competence, aptitude, mindset, and the entrepreneurial aspect of it in a kind of an NOS for this idea. So you could either use this as a use case to understand micro-credentials, or you could simply say that I already know everything about micro-credentials, let me on the job learn it as I am writing this NOS for this particular topic. You could consider doing that. But the idea that I wanted to propose is that I mentioned that there are 3 types of opportunities facing the open universities, but 2 types of target groups. The first 2 that I mentioned are the same target group, the 45,000 and 270,000, which are your students. The second type is what you are talking about, like elder caregivers It's not your students, it's outside your student community. Communication skills for government employees are not your students, but outside your community. Or customer relationship associates for banks, the business correspondents, are not your students, but outside. But your students would also benefit. When it comes to NetEquip, your students can benefit, outside your student community will also benefit. Now, one simple idea that I had, which is also a step prior to Delhi and Hardwar, which was Hyderabad. Our friend Dr. Solomon hosted us in Hyderabad. And we talked about open education resources in that meeting. Now, what if we look at the most needed skills for student employability? Now, 45,000 students and 275,000 students are there in our system. They go out with a degree, but they are not employable. How do we make them employable? Can we encourage them, if not all the 45,000, maybe 4,500 out of the 45,000 in your Tamil Nadu Open University, maybe 27,000 out of 270 in Maharashtra, to also take up an additional certification which could be developed by everyone. So the idea I am proposing is, what are the 10 or how many, 17 universities we are? What are the 17 skills a student would need to be employed or to become an entrepreneur? Now, World Economic Forum has a set of skills. The University Consortium have come with a set of skills for students' employability. Now, all sorts of people are figuring out the future skills for employability. And you can do a search on the internet and come up with these 17 skills, which would be, to my mind, not very far away from what you are thinking. Customer care, communication, critical thinking, analytical thinking, teamwork, leadership, not elderly care. No, not about the elderly care, because it doesn't help in student employability. Now, when students have to enter the marketplace, we need to communicate them. Decision taking, critical thinking, analytical thinking, presentation, communication, collaboration, problem solving, negotiation, analytical skills, information inquiry skills, inclusiveness, DEI. DEI. So these are the skills people are looking for. Every company that hires employees today find all these graduates that come out of both conventional and open education system not to have these skills. They are very good at their subject. We have trained them well enough in history, geography, electronics, whatnot, but we have not trained them enough in communication. They can't even present an idea. They can't even exploit Canva PowerPoint presentation to explain. They don't even know that there is a hand button to press for while working in an online environment. So there are quite a lot of those. So my submission would be, what if each university takes a topic, end to end, for 15 hours of notional learning, or even 7.5 if that subject is not that elaborately to be dealt with, but at a 4.5 level and above, which is higher order thinking, and develop an end-to-end course, right from defining learning objectives and defining the competence that we are inculcating or honing in these people, to delivery. Delivery could be, as I mentioned this morning, could be in 3 forms. Could be education, training, on-the-job training. Your assessment could also be the same for each component. and at the end of the day we can figure it out as to how 15 hours of their lifetime would be spent in learning communication, would be spent in learning critical thinking, analytical thinking, team working, collaboration, time management, leadership, problem solving, all these are conflict management, negotiation, all these are essential.
Before all this, first comes resume. Resume building. Now you see resume and then interpretation skills. Interpretation skills, resume writing skills. There could be a 7.5 hours of learning on how to write a resume. There could be another 7.5 hours of learning for how to face an interview. But at that level, at a graduate level where this graduate would come out of the university system seeking jobs or becoming one. Now if you spend your valuable time in the next a month or two in creating this micro-credential, then what we can do, we can combine all the 17 micro-credentials together and say that each university would now advertise to offer this is a 21st century skills for the existing students, either for free or for a fee. If it is for a fee, if you are charging 4,000 rupees for your BA program or BSc program, you charge another 1,000 rupees for this particular course. So they would walk out of your university system with a degree as well as a certificate endorsed by the ECBT, degree endorsed by the UGC. Under these two norms, you can avoid them. So they have an edge over others when it comes to facing employment opportunities.
We are working on this line, sir. In our existing UGPC program, we can integrate.
You can integrate also. See, you have a dual role. Now, the moment you create a micro-credential, you package this. It's something like, you go to Haldiram, the same bhujia will be in that pack as well as in this pack. But that pack will be, in a different color and this pack will be in different color. You can do so. The same chutney can be in your breakfast table as well as in your meal menu. So you can utilize the micro-credential that you develop in your own programs. If you have BA program, BA history student needs to communicate, no doubt. You can subsume that. But you can also award this if you want as an additional, certification, where you develop one and get 16 for free. Because you are pooling it. That's what we discussed in Hyderabad. What we discussed in Hyderabad was, we develop one university will develop a course, give it to all the other 16. Similarly, all other 16 would also develop their own courses and distribute the rest of it. Which means your effort and your opportunity cost is only for one. Whereas in return you are getting 6. But you need to do some bit of additional adjustments if you are also offering in your mother tongue. So if communication skills developed by Assam comes to, say, Karnataka, and you want to offer that in Kannada, you may have to translate. That cost you may have to bear. But it comes on a silver platter. But the responsibility doesn't lie only with them. The moment they write, you can peer review. You can provide your input. You can add value to the NOS. So that of course there is strength. That's the open source method. That's what it is. So this is a simple idea. I want to implant this idea on your lives. So when it comes to micro-credentials, you can develop n number of micro-credentials for your own market. But you can also collaborate to create something in common that you can offer to everyone. So together as 18 open universities, 17, you could perhaps target 1 million students rather than targeting just 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. So together you have a market. And NCBET micro-credential is all about one nation, one standard. So there is no customer care different in Assam than different in Karnataka. Maybe the sector may be different. Customer care there would be maybe value furniture. Karnataka may be customer care in silk industry or whatever. But the principles of customer care will be the same. The communication will be the same. That's where NO is concerned. Okay. So this is an idea which is aimed at students, because if you go to qualifications register, you have n number of communication skills courses. You have n number of banking correspondence courses. You will have n number of elder courses also. There are 3 other. But when it comes to students, there is none. So our constituency is that undergrad, postgrad students who are registered with us would also benefit from either embedding these micro-credentials into the existing programs or an additional offering package by drawing from each other as a 21st century skills or employability skills or market skills, industry aligned skills. Whatever, howsoever you want to market, you can market. But it's all about the future. Future of work. It's all about future skills. Future skills is all about future competencies. And those are the ones that we are doing.
Thank you so much. I think I'm audible without mic. Thank you so much, sir. I think sir already mentioned about what is really our other option. All 17 universities have a skill-based course which can be pre-used and pre-practiced. So now first let us concentrate on this because we are writing a smart objective, right? When you are already submitted for NCB, you have written certain things. But then you might have followed certain quality framework also to do that, right? To match this outcomes and objectives. So when you say mitigate, then mitigate for how to be specific there, to whom and to be or attain and achieve it, how they can achieve it, and then when by end of that, how many hours of training or workshop, so that we have to mention there. Similarly, for communication skills for government employees. So how are you going to assess that? Okay, by when and how many hours, the time you have to mention. Just go through these specific, measurable. If you want to write, always it should start with a measurable verb. When we write any objective, or must be very much aware of those types. And then where exactly we will apply these verbs. There is a wonderful diagram that is shared with you all in our skill-based courses. What kind of verbs for our knowledge or skill activities we use the verbs. So we have to be very specific about the moment we look at the objective, will come to know, the learner will come to know, okay, by end of this one-day workshop, I will be equipped this, and I will be assessed in this way. For example, we just say that customer relation associate for banks. So by how? When you are writing the competency to it, so achieving so much grade or in so much time, or attaining a badge, a digital badge, about awarding bodies. So we have to be very specific about it. Essential, what is effective leadership skills for this. And then we have to first be very specific even at the topic level. Then we can come up with the objective which is SMART. Similarly for even these pulling elders, right? Sometimes when we are teaching these Connecticut or communication skills handling front office people might be different with for people where I didn't really exactly heard. Though somebody said about inclusion, what I was in inclusion, I never really addressed another important topic about accessibility, which is very important. The way we communicate, do we really, when we create even our SLMs, are we really addressing everybody? Are we really addressing our visually impaired learners or that have some auditory problems? And then if you look at 2011 census ideas over there, the kind of percentage is really alarming. The kids at that time saying we cannot communicate, then how beautifully he is handling things in a customer care. How he achieved it? Through an NGO training, it seems. I just spoke to him. Then why our education institutions are not ready to offer such kind of courses? And especially, I feel that there should be a course on designing content or developing content, accessible content. So whatever you are doing, all these courses that you are part of, are they addressing everybody? It means the video you create, does it have subtitles? Will it have subtitles? Will it have captions? Will it have a transcription for that? So we have to cater all these details when we write about anything and be specific about it. So let us do one thing now. Let me give you an example. You all have that with you in your material that is provided about writing smart objective. Right? And even this is a very needed topic these days, culturally responsive teaching in that accessible. So do you think understand culturally responsive teaching is a smart objective? Is it smart enough? Because I don't want to go into so deep into what is smart enough, because you already said you don't. So is it smart enough or not? If not, how? If yes, or can we modify it to make it a smart project? No, and the objective is smart. It started with a work, right? It started. So, can you measure it? Can you measure? How do we measure the understanding capability of an individual? Yes, sir.
If we can train them by teaching at the practical model, and suppose I am teaching in my home school, any other practical purpose thing I am teaching him, so I have to see both means a method of the principle I have to teach and also the practical one. So when I teach him and show him the practical, then I can make the assessment by 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
But the best assessment it would be, I can say repeat this experiment again. By that thing I can know that.
But can you measure it, that understandability? Because what you understand might be different from a different perspective, right? Some other person might understand it different.
But for practical purpose only he can understand better.
No, whether the word understand. Yes. Comprehend.
I would rather go for a free survey or free discussion being related to the topic and know their ideas and point of view and understanding of the level. And once I'm done with my class or the training session or
Yeah, that is fine. You have to understand the target audience. But then to write the objective like this, the sentence, because of the education department, that's why the answer came right here. Yes, ma'am. Comprehending. So how do you measure that comprehension?
Like interpretation and outline.
Right?
Specifications.
So we have to be very specific and measurable. Word should be there when we write any kind of objective. It should be part of writing your competency. The competency is part, the amalgamation of all these things come to your objectives, and then the broader ones, how it comes in the objectives, whether confident into a competency, right? So when we write that, so we have to utilize it. Yes, ma'am, I want you to speak about it.
Whatever we learn or we understand, so first each one understanding will be different from other.
Yeah.
So broadly, like how we comprehend in our own perspective, whether how can we apply on that comprehension. For example, what
See, from the morning we are learning about micro-credential. So, but what I learned in micro-credential, according to my perspective, it may other. So, according to that, when you are coming to this workshop, how I comprehend and how I am applying to my own core form. So, this is according to the learning.
No, you're right, ma'am. So if I have to understand how much you learn, right, I may ask you to explain, right? I may ask you to write a smart objective. When I heard that, okay, you are all part of that earlier workshop, you already submitted to NCB, you might have already written the objectives of the program, isn't it? So I just wanted to learn how much is exactly learned and then how much you really presented over there. How do I understand? By asking you to apply those skills and to come up with some evidence. I want some evidence. So when we write any smart objective,
Instead of understanding, we just say comprehend. That would suffice.
no, while writing the first part, the starting part will be that. But how do you do that? How do you do that? How do you observe this? By the end of the 8-week course, student will be or learners will be able to, or takers, participants will be able to, what they can do. Identify and explain 5 key principles of so and so. In what? How you collect an evidence. Write a reflection piece of it, isn't it? And then how do I judge that? How do I give them marks according to an academic way of doing? How do I award them marks for a reflective piece? Yes, we have to avoid. Definitely, we have to avoid those words, right? We have to write measurable work. That's what the Bloom's taxonomy is all about. I don't have to go to really understand all the basics. No, not at all. Because you cannot measure that. When you can measure, how you can measure?
We have to avoid this.
Yes. And then how do I give them any marks or award them something? How do I do an assessment? When they write a evaluation, yes. But that evaluation, that needs to be very transparent, especially in a micro-credential. How do you make it transparent? Any evaluation? Yeah, wait, how do you make it transparent? I mean, how a learner or a taker will understand, okay, I was graded this one. Okay. Any other?
Evaluations, tests.
Yeah, how I know, for example, I'm taking your university's course. I've awarded
Some
75%.
percentage, some grade.
Yeah, 75% I got. But on what basis I got 75%? I wrote 300 words. They asked. I wrote 300 words. And even for you, while correcting, it's very difficult to read those 300 words. Probably words, no? Okay. Yeah, those keywords. Sorry.
Performance criteria is one which defines the course objectives.
Yeah, but then where do we take it in assessment? How do we see that? How do you make it transparent?
The program.
You all know, you are already doing it. Reliable and valid. Yeah, but then how as the learner will know that, okay, these are the guidelines that we assess. A rubric. A rubric. Performance criteria, somebody wrote. Right? When they write any reflective piece, what I want in that reflective piece. If I want to award 75% marks to that, what are all should be covered? If I want to award grade B of 60% daily or 50%, what is lacked there? That is the transparency. If I give them a fail grade, on what basis? Practical part only, a rubric that we create for that assessment, for any assessment, where if it is a technology evaluation, sorry, is it the scheme of evaluation? Make it transparent with the help of a rubric. Then you take the NCDT guidelines also, when you are following that, when you are submitting, you might have written that assessment criteria. Right? One of the challenging option there is how do you assess them, how do you award them, and then how do you make that transparent, and then how do you collect the evidence. If it is a skill-based course, it might be a little different. If it is a technology, definitely all these courses will be online, that's what I'm thinking, or it will be blended. Right? Definitely they are all technology enhanced. But then if they are very specific to any technology driven courses, then the rubric might be a little different. That's where this performance criteria, skills and knowledge, what you want to assess there, what kind of a knowledge you want to see in that reflective piece, and what kind of a skill that you want to see, and to what level. This is what you specify in a rubric. You know how a rubric looks like, right? On one hand, you have the criteria and the levels. You've all already done that for your course. Then when it comes to micro-credential, you have to show the evidence. You have to make the assessment very transparent. Right? So now it is clear, right? Written reflection scoring at least 80% on the assessment. Any discussions on this? No? So anything to discuss upon on a rubric or a SMART objective? How do we write? That is different. The approach I'm talking about. Somebody asked me in the morning that that question was not put to Michael Stanley. Sorry for that. I think the duration of a micro-credential. Right? I think that down was clear. Somebody asked that.
I asked for the duration and whether it can be self-paced.
So you are answered for that now? Anybody answers that question? The duration of the micro-credential?
I think as it is
Yes.
defined by
7.5.
it
Yes.
is defined by hello.
As it is defined by the NCDT,
It could be units of 7.5. 7.5 notional hours and 0.5 hours of assessment. So it could be the chunks of 8 hours, 16 hours, 22 hours of learning. In other words, if a micro-credential is of 8 hours, of which half an hour assessment, 7.5 hours of learning. The learning could be differentiated in theory, practice, on the job. On the job could be also at home, not necessarily in a workplace. So you could easily divide the 7.5 hours of delivery into these 3 buckets and 0.5 hours of assessment. That will give you 0.25 credit. You could create a micro-credential for 0.25 credit, for 0.5 credit, for 1 credit, for 2 credits, for 3 credits, for 4 credits. It's up to you. It's up to you on the basis of the topic. The only condition for micro-credentials should be end-to-end and then standalone. If it's standalone, it's well and good. But standalone could also be a part of a large application. So you stack together. So in other words, take this example of Netiquette. Netiquette could be a 7.5-hour learning, could be 15-hour learning. How deep you go into it. But the breadth should be the same. Because you don't want to cover only a portion of it. You want to cover the spectrum. So the breadth is large, but the depth can be where you want to stop. If you want to click further down, it could be 15 hours, it could be 30 hours. It's up to you. Given that you are dealing with graduate level people, you could go at a level above. You need not simply introduce it. You could make them apply, experience, reflect, and also elaborate. You could go to that level. Your assessment and evidence building for the assessment could also be aligned to that level. This is where our training in education comes in way. Because I am not an educator, so I wouldn't be able to speak with conviction of Bloom's taxonomy and Gates principles and all that. But you are practicing on a daily basis, so you would be able to lift it up to a level of an adult. It was past 12th standard, but now it's at that level of mind plan, where the learning should be up to that level. You don't want to bring up a course that you are teaching a 3rd standard kid at a higher tertiary. So that's the only thing there. Now, it could be self-paced, why not? MOOCs are often self-paced, but to some extent we also provide a tutor, a mentor. If you want to have, if you see the need for a mentor, you can have a mentor. But if you are used to writing SLMs, now you are writing this, developing this course, the multimedia, base, online, why not? It all depends on the competence that you are sharing. If it can be fully done online, then there's a preference from the Government of India for micro credentials is fully online. Yes. You can offer it through SWAYAM. You can offer it through your own LMS. You can offer it through your industry partners LMS. You can offer it in a multiple platform, but it should be transparent for the regulator, for your own school, your university, and also to the learner, accessible enough. It could be offered through SWAYAM.
So after completion of this micro credential, they will get a badge or certification, right?
They will get a credit, preferably because the Government of India's lingo now. Badges are more industry lingo. If you get a badge, so what does that badge do? Doesn't do much. It's something like AFC, Employee of the Month, photograph, and it's all gone, right? But in our case, you can award it in a credit.
Credit we are giving, no?
You can give
Then
credit.
when we are saying that it is self-paced, once he has enrolled, there should be certain time limit. That was the question, maximum duration of the micro
Again,
credential.
it's up to you, up to your university's bandwidth.
University can decide that.
You can decide whether you want to keep it open 365 days and allow anybody to join any time and quit any time. Because your students are anyway with you for 3 years. If you have a self-paced course micro-credential online, you can invite people to join any time. And your assessment is also online. So it's up to you, your managerial capability. The question arises only when 10,000 people take up, and if there is a human intervention in assessment, then you have a problem of marking the tables. But if it's fully online, the rubrics are designed in an online fashion to deliver it online, and also the feedback mechanism is also designed online. To some extent, some people are taking artificial intelligence, therefore AI-based feedback mechanism also. But it all depends on the number of students and your managerial time. There's nothing, kind of stopping you. The only duration definition is not how many hours of notional. So if you are awarding 0.25 credit, the notional learning should be at least for 7.5 hours.
If we are having 4 credits of academic stage, having 3 hours of examination. According
micro-credential, there is a guideline, there is a booklet. So in the guideline, it's very clearly mentioned. For one credit, there should be at least 30 hours of learning. 30 hours of learning. And 2 hours of assessment. Or 4 hours, I don't know, it's there. 2 hours of assessment. So 30 hours of learning and 2 hours of assessment. 32 hours. And the way that they are going about is 1 day equals 8 hours, 1 week equals 32 hours. Although 40 hours, 5 learning, 5 days of learning. But they take us 4 days in a week. So you might be learning 16 weeks in a semester. So their calculation is very interesting. But basically it comes down to, if you are awarding 1 credit, there should be at least 30 hours of learning and 2 hours of assessment. So 1 to 2 hours of assessment. Now you say 4 credits, you have 3-hour exam. Actually, in a micro-credential setting, for 4 credits, you have at least 4 hours of assessment or 8 hours of assessment. The assessment doesn't have to be an end summative exam. It could be 2 hours. So you could divide your assessment in multiple ways. Your assessment is based on assessing the knowledge, assessing the skills and competences, assessing the drill, what they call the demonstration. You could also define your assessment. And when it comes to delivery, they say 7 types of delivery is possible. You could deliver your micro-credential through theoretical knowledge, through practical component, through demonstration, through assessment, through on-the-job training. So there are 7 components of blended learning that they are recommending. So you are free to use all the 7 or 4, 3, whatsoever that suits you. So you are not now confined to only classroom face-to-face interaction where the knowledge is top down. It could be experimental, it could be collaborative, it could be project work, it could be on-the-job training, it could be workplace-based learning. So multiple ways of learning is encouraged and multiple ways of assessment is encouraged. So there is no pen and paper, that's mandatory. So when you design micro-credential, all that you need to think about, maybe in the next 2 days we would go through in detail. You need to have the basic details of your course. You need to have the details of how you would impart training. You would have to have details of how would you assess. You would also have to have details of what is the demand for this, which is very, very critical. Now, if there is an industry demand that you need to actually show. And if you are creating a public micro-credential, they say that at least 5 industries should endorse that there is a need. Like elder care, at least 5 different organizations should endorse that yes, there is a care, there is a need. Or if it is a customer care communication course for the government employees, at least 5 departments should say yes, we need this. Which means
30 industry collaboration.
You have 30 industry collaboration.
No,
for micro-credential, you need 5, if it is a public micro-credential. It could be 1 to 5, they say.
According to NCB.
According to NCB. Now, once you become NCB awarding body, then you have a lot of liberty. Now, banking correspondent course that you are talking about. You can ask if 5 different nationalized banks need this kind of competence. If they say yes, we need it. All that you need is an endorsement letter. Why they are doing this is they want you to do your homework in terms of what is the market need. Because oftentimes we think that these are the things that we will develop without even assessing that there is a market need. And sometimes we create a course as micro-credential, which there may not be any data. And I can tell you, my own organization created a course for community radio operators course. Now, how many people are taking it today? 4 people, 5 people. So, is it worth enough for us to invest our time? Because there are only 400 community radio stations in our country. And how will we impart this course to 4,000 people when there is only 400 community radio stations? So, we can make wrong choices. My own organization created this course 10 years ago, thinking that there will be 4,000 community radio operators in our country. But in the last 20 years, we have only 400 stations.
So its API is concerned, academic performance indicator, as teacher courses. There is a MOOC and e-content. So micro-credential is supposed to be part of e-content or MOOC. As a teacher, if you want to be supposed to prepare for OIC class.
It's a very interesting question. MOOC is just an acronym. MOOC is what? Massive Open Online Courses. Massive. Lot of people. Online. Open courses. So it's an acronym. So there is nothing called how do I put it? Chennai is Chennai, but it's a city, right? MOOC is a city, but Chennai is the name of your course, right? So MOOC is a kind of a notion. Swayam is called MOOC. Coursera is called MOOC. Your own LMS could also be called, you have open courses, could be called MOOC. Is a platform, Moodle is a platform, and MOOC is the kind of a concept that you put in a lot of massive number of open and online courses out there. So, what does a MOOC contain?
So, in some or another sense, the Sutta or accuracy, in number of times we are so conscious of reaching about the words. It is the only concern we need to ask in this that this micro-credential is supposed to be a part, and then we are supposed to do the work as a content leader or as a teacher. To our task for our next advancement.
Micro-credential will have cycle.
Because UGC have only MOOC and the word e-content. Now NCVT is equivalent, then the new regulation is also the same.
It's all the same. MOOC, what they say is for quarter, right? So what is wrong in an e-content is for quarter? Nothing wrong. What is wrong with a micro-credential is for quarter? Nothing wrong.
Micro-credential can be a MOOC, right?
It's a massive enrollment. MOOC is a name.
Micro-credential is a model of learning. If we are launching our course in the framework of NCVT, then might we cover the API. But if you are launching it in your own professional school at your university level, it will be launched as a program under your university, and you will get marks, API marks for developing a
It's a simple nomenclature. When it comes to NCVT, we call it LTT, STT, micro-credential. Long-term training, short-term training, micro-credential. Long-term training is
actually is coming to point of view of CAs. For a candidate mathematics where they will mention that it is a 2-grade course or a 5-grade course. So if it is a 2-grade course, we will be given 2-grade.
yeah, but how does it affect your micro-credential?
No, sir, this question was whether this will include more
Will it be useful for CAs? Because we are developing it.
So the answer is simple, right? Micro-credential is a MOOC. Okay, MOOC can be a MOOC is a delivery model.
If you develop 30 units of video, then it is considered as a one module. And for each module there are 5 points.
Actually, video alone, it's not appropriate to say just a video content.
There is a SLM also. There is a references also. There is a discussion forum. So it is a
When you say video content, it's in the context of 4 parts. So you have the visual material, you have the video resources, you have the further reading material, these are the assessment. All the 4. Micro-credential also they are talking the same.
But whether it is part of micro-credential Moodle or MOOC, that doesn't mean. It doesn't make any sense. Whether it is part of.
Doesn't matter. Sometimes I'm called Mr. Shadrach, sometimes I'm called Shadrach.
See, this is 4%. If you develop 1%, there is also marks. And if you develop entire 4%, there is also 20 marks. So it's very, but it will benefit you.
But in both quadrant, what is missing? What is encouraged now? The skill qualification is workplace-based apprenticeship. On the job training is missing in fourth quadrant. You see on your computer at the end of the day. But what the skills qualification they are encouraging? Take a step back from your computer, go and use your mind, hand, and do something more. Demonstrate that you will learn, not just read or watched or studied or participated, but you also demonstrate evidence to application of that knowledge in a particular domain. So that's an add-on, because you can't really award a skills qualification unless you have that evidence to applicable. Now you can also do that on a MOOC, where you can ask people to write an analytical essay, where they are analyzing and applying their mind. But in a skills domain, largely because skills, who is the grandfather of the skill? TVET. Technical vocational education is the grandfather of the skill. Now skill is the modern name, right? Because we recognize soft skills also as skills. Earlier only carpentry and baldiwala, screwwala, all those were skills associated with even with the caste and community. But today, everyone is capable of doing everything. So the competency here in skills is demonstrated through evidence of creating something, doing something, and demonstrating. Whereas in an academic setup, it could be in terms of basically writing an analytical piece or a critical piece or something through which you basically assess. And you can come up with rubrics for that as well as for this. Collaborative learning can also be assessed through a different set of rubrics. There you could ask them to demonstrate evidence that what you are struggling at 2:30 this afternoon is something that you can ask them to demonstrate. Now there is a group, 5 groups are there. But it's a push. Again in skills domain also there is a push. So actually go better, go kneel down, use your hands, dirty your hands, demonstrate. That's what skills domain demands today. And it's a good thing, because you want to really see if they're really applied or not. Otherwise, learners cheat also.
Yeah, I want to answer. Sorry to continue this because you integrated the digital badge. That's where I wanted to add. When we have a digital badge, imagine NCBT awarding is a digital badge with an industry partner like Apple, for example. They are having as a new they need certain skills. Open University, the IFS, some industry partner. Now NCBT is awarding a badge there. When they award a badge, there is an evidence that they have to show. Even in a 4-quadrant approach, when you sit with a laptop, you have to do a project where you have to
I take back my word, because badges are something that the industry is very happy about, and industry values a lot. But at the end of the day, what we are trying to say is, in addition to whatever star or the photo, the employee of the month, we are also adding a great advantage by providing a credit. So badge is one thing, but you are actually painting the badge with a credit.
Yes, of course, it's added value.
Which is a good thing, because if everyone has OPR-ID, every learner, how many times this learning, it's not credit-based. You are not given any credit for this learning, but your students will have. Just imagine, you are spending 24 hours of your critical, if you are lucky for 20,000 days of your life, you are going to be physically, professionally contributing. Of the 20,000 you are spending 3 days here, and you are not given any credit. So if you are given a credit, just imagine one credit, which means
out of 120 credits for a graduate degree, you are already 1% of your graduate degree by sitting there in 3 days. So every day we are learning. On the move we are learning. Sitting in the train we are learning. Sometimes listening to radio we are learning. Now Government of India wants to creditize every learning, whether in a coffee table or on the move, sitting in the car or wherever transportation, or sitting in a classroom like this. Everything is monetized. In all these days, we did not have this concept of monetizing our learning. We learn because we passionately learn. Today, with that passion, we can also add that money, currency to the passion.
Sir, my question is regarding assessment. Like this session, we are talking about soft skills. So it's more of demonstrations as compared to written part. So is there any certain guidelines by NCBT as far as allocation of components of written and demonstration of practical is concerned? Or it is up to us to...
It's a broad guideline. What they are given when it comes to skills part, they say your assessment can also be assessing on the basis of gaining evidences that this person has the knowledge.
It's like asking
RPN is kind of recognizing the prior learning. But now a student who may or may not have prior learning in a particular stream can also demonstrate that he or she has learned by answering your questions, like also posting a 1-minute video or speaking 3 minutes and communicating. So there could be multimodal assessments that you could inbuild, provided your LMS allows for. Because you need to listen. Because all these days they were marking this, sent to you to your learning local centers, to the regional centers, you went physically reach. But now in online you can have multiple ways of assessment. You could have instant feedback, also built-in assessment. After every unit you can have a quiz. And you can ask them to move on only when they pass 70% in the quiz. So these are all something that we are practicing for some time now, right? So you could continue to do that. It doesn't have to be, there's no straight-jacket approach. But the guidance is that when you are imparting knowledge, theory, imparting practice, imparting demonstration, in other words, repeated videos. If you have a video resource, what is the advantage of a video resource? 20 times they can see it. So repeated drill. And you can also, so the components that they are recognizing, theory, practice, on-the-job training, or with hands-on, application of mind, practically doing on their own. So one of the things would be we give all of the children in schools a project around the out. Prepare a science project or something. They outsource it, but in your case we want them to show it. So it depends on how you want to do. There is no model for school, but there is a guideline. Again, if you look at the micro-credential guidelines put out by NCBT, you would understand, because you have been doing this for ages, so it's not difficult for you to follow that. All that I said was, even in the afternoon I said that we carried a bigger load because we have written for how many hours? We have written learning for 3,600 hours, 4,600 hours of learning. So when we have written SLMs for 2,400 hours, 3,600 hours of learning, writing a micro-credential for intervals 16 hours is आपका दाई हाथ करके क्या बोलते हैं बाई हाथ
Madam, if you permit me, I want to supplement 3 things. Number one, what Shadak sir gave us the target to develop all Open University, the skills that is required for our students to be employed. In that case, That is one area. But second is, there is also a possibility of integration of these courses into our UG and PG program. For UG program, latest National Credit Framework identifies two specific components. One is ability enhancement course, another is skill enhancement course. And credit is defined, either 2 credits or 3 credits. Credit is defined. So when we develop a micro-credential course, if we keep it mind to integrate it, then definitely it should be 2 to 3 credits. If we want to integrate it, either UG or either PG courses. This is one information I would like to convey. And the second thing is different skills require different time frame. So definitely those who are developing, they definitely know that this course should be 30 hours, this course should be 60 hours.
It depends on, again, the objective that
Yes. Then
what you want to really assess.
yes. And third and the last thing, the question raised our B.R. Ambedkar University friend, whether this effort will be creditized or not in my career advancement scheme. Thing is that all these micro-credential courses we are developing as per the established norms and procedure of the following, as per the norms and procedure of the university. Maybe the School of Studies, Academic Council. So the teacher putting effort in a particular assignment which is approved by School of Studies and Academic Council, it should be, reflect on his career advancement.
Okay, I want to show you something that we have in mind. Because, this morning, Professor Armugam mentioned that we will be meeting in Nashik. But my proposal is that we will not necessarily only have to wait until December to meet in Nashik. We could also consider something of this nature. If we are only, a suggestion, it's not a final thing. But we want the open universities to co-learn. Something similar to what she was struggling at 2:30 this afternoon. We are trying to put groups together. So we want East India, OUs to come together, perhaps under the leadership of K.K. Handik, if they are willing. Similarly, MP Boj, we want them to take care of the central region. And I don't know, Kerala, colleagues from Kerala are here. So if you are Mysore, Karnataka Open University want to take care of South India, that would be a good opportunity. What we want to do is to take forward this conversation. Today, tomorrow, day after, we'll be learning more about micro-credentials and how to create all these skill qualifications. But what we want is slowly, we want to bring in this consciousness that open universities are not certification distribution agencies. They are agencies that are employing people. The graduate employability is the bottom line for all of us, and that is going to be the USP for us. So we want to bring people together, and where we want in the next at least 3 years, transform our thinking from awarding bodies to more employment-oriented, skill-oriented institutions that are creating the future of workforce for this country. So we are undertaking, in addition to you creating the courses, we are also encouraging you to think about the status. What is the status of your students today vis-a-vis employability? Take for instance, the last 5 years you may have brought out at least, say, each one of you would have brought out 50,000 to 500,000 students who would have graduated through the system. So where are they? Have you done any case studies? Have you understood the market? Have you understood what we have supplied? So a status review would be more in terms of demand and supply. What is the demand in the market? What is that we are supplying? Is there a match between the demand and supply?
So we want to do a status report.
And we also want to do an employment readiness study. We want to come up with an employment readiness index for India, for Indian open universities. It's mainly to make you a little more competitive and create a healthy competition, learning journey for you. To say that, okay, today my employment readiness index is 3, but tomorrow I want to move to 5 or 7. And how do I do that? What do I do in order to move my employability consciousness within my institution? Who are your stakeholders? The stakeholders are your students, the faculty members, your industry partners, the employers are the main stakeholders, in the sense that they are the ones who need to employ. Now, if the perception of the employers is poor, what can we do to actually improve that perception? If the perception of the parents are poor, what do we do to improve the ward's perception and the learner's perception and so on? And what does it take to make them employable? What kind of student support services we need to offer? What kind of additional support that we need to provide in addition to the SLMs and the textbooks and the contract programs that we carry out? What it takes? If it takes to place them for a month in an industry, can we negotiate with the industry? So a kind of a package for us to move forward. And we want to actually encourage these anchor institutions to host workshops for the rest of them in terms of building the camp, building the field. So that's something that we have in mind. And we are interested in investing some financial resources. But more than anything, we want to bring in the experts who work with you to make you the experts sooner than later. Because you should be the experts speaking all this. And you are the experts already. It so happens that we are treading a new path where we are working with NCDET. But within a year or so, you are the ones who are going to educate the rest of the world about society. Now we are being questioned whether we are qualitative, we are employed, we are producing employable graduates or not. Rather, you should be teaching the rest of the world. So that's what we have in mind. So as you can see, we have a 3-year plan starting from September onwards. So I want to really mention this now, but we'll be writing to you in detail, at least to the anchor institutions, if you are ready for it. If for any reason Kerala is not ready, you could suggest an alternate. For any reason Bhopal is not ready, one can suggest somebody else. For any reason Punjab is not ready, there is Punjab. Not ready, you can let us know. But this is our plan. That at least we should meet every now and then. For bringing people at All India level, we can do once or twice a year. But we can bring at a regional level even 3 more times. So that we can build a cohort of learning, so that there is no struggle for 220 that. 40 minutes. Unfortunately, as of today, take somebody who is 8th standard pass or 10th standard fail. You may have to take people, at least for now, it can change. At least for now, your learners, whether he is a carpenter or an auto rickshaw driver or a Uber driver or a Swiggy delivery agent, Uber should be at least 12th standard pass.
point in time. If you want to provide credit-based courses, if you want to predict non-credit-based courses, you can take anybody, housewives to, elderly people, illiterate, anybody you can take. You can provide non-credit certification. If you want to provide credit-based certification, you have to have 12th standard pass and an RID. So that once you award them a credit, it should be banked against their name. It should be deposited in their credit. So that's the only stipulation. But nobody stops you from going to a group of self-help groups, for instance. If they are into micro-entrepreneurship, or a set of Uber drivers who would like to learn how to drive, say, electronic hybrid vehicles, or if you want to train somebody in a particular technology where the current technology is unfinished, or if somebody wants to understand how artificial intelligence will impact their life and prepare themselves for tomorrow's workforce, you can bring in those future skills. But you have this condition that they have to be full standard pass to be eligible to be awarded at 4.5 level. Accordingly, your learning resources will be also at that level. That's the only thing.
After all these days of listening, right, how we plan a micro-credential. Definitely we can brainstorming, think of the topic. Now I think we all, with this we are very clear that we can come up with this idea is really good, and we could at least see an assumption that it can be utilized by each and every university. We can reach higher number of people, a massive number if it is about soft skills. The topic. And then, it's just not about the assumption. Definitely it needs an assessment. It needs assessments to be done from different sectors. You talk with your existing learners, from experts, industry experts, at the same time in generalized way of collecting data from them, what exactly they need. Though you may think everything is required for these people, and they might have chosen something which will help you to include that in your objectives to define your learning outcomes, right? And then also very important is competitive offerings. For example, if somebody came up with a topic and said already we have a plan to do this. Similarly, an industry partner or something, okay, who might be offering with as a lovely thing for our industry is a badge, digital badge, already offering, and they might go for it rather than unless you have to a great extent a learner engagement and the evidence that you are providing along with your credit and the certificate where they can showcase the skill that they have learned. The evidence you have to capture it very well if you really want to capture the market need and that you want to really monetize that micro-credential what you are doing. The evidence that you collect through that assessment, giving an opportunity for the learner to showcase that wherever they want, not just as part of your academic bank of credits or apart from that. Any assessment that you have provided, they can showcase to the global. Right? So that is very, very important, and you have to analyze this competitors offering works. If it is there, then to what degree that it is actually covering, and what is lack, what really is you have to address, that you have to think about it. And then you evaluate it, and then you prioritize. And then comes your resources, and then also about practicality and capacity. As an institution, how practical it is. It could be about the pocket size. It could also be about the delivery mode, right? If it is online or a blended one. The practicality. What are all the things that are associated with that, from funding to implementation to evidence collection and feedback, how you collect, you get a certificate, all these things you have to think about. And then comes your planning. Not just about writing an outcome or objective very smart, in a smart way and writing your competency, you prepare your syllabus, you strategically you part of an assessment and evidence and rubrics. That's all. Is it that? When you while writing that, are you concentrating on your outcomes and assessment, whether they are aligned? Whatever the assessment you are doing, whatever the evidence you are collecting, is it aligned with your objective that you mentioned to that program or course, whatever you call it? This is not just a notification. Move is a when number of people are enrolled, definitely it is. Right? So approach that program. Then the outcomes are aligned with your assessments. It's very, very important. Even before you get on to collecting your resources, it is very important to see that your objectives and your outcomes are aligned with your assessment, how you assess them. And then how you want to award. And right now we are very clear that at least we are in an assumption that we go reconciliate. So the awarding body will do that. And then what is the criteria, what is the corporate framework that you have to follow to get into it, get it accepted and to deliver the course. And then you have to think about ifs and buts about how you will be awarded annually or are you automatically. And also about while selecting a topic, it is very, very important while writing an assessment and an outcome these days in the era of AI. I think Michael Sank is also mentioning about like simple quizzing or any kind of a simple direct assessment. Somewhere there is simply you give multiple choice questions. If it is a direct question, or a lower order thinking question, simply they can use any option and simple Google search also to give them an answer. So how constructive is that the question is? So applicability of their knowledge. That is very important. Yes.
Are these badges or certificates are like?
Again, I think of NCVT. This is a generalized slide over there.
So this, on LinkedIn we find certain certificates which have expirations and expiry dates, and some are like.
NCVT also mentions about the validity of.
Yes, the certification is for lifetime. But the qualification has a shelf life. The micro-credential and the qualifications have a shelf life. That is with the understanding that skills are evolving, so you need to update. So what sometimes some universities recycle the same course that they created 20 years ago. In the case of skilling, it can't happen because the skills are evolving. What used to be the obsolete skill yesterday is obsolete today. So you no longer practice the same practice. And it's quite evident with, as I mentioned this morning, digitalization, greening and artificial intelligence govern a lot of things about it. So how we practiced 20 years ago, we are not likely to practice today. And many of us do not know 40% of the profession that would arise in 10 years' time from now. We never had a profession called labeling. Today we have labeling. And we never had a profession called back office function 30 years ago. And India's economy recovered after 9/11 because we became a back office. Today, Philippines economy is booming because of back office. But we are taking a quantum leap in quantum computing and other cutting-edge advanced technologies. So we are leaving the back office function behind. So we are evolving. Skills are evolving. So there is a shelf life of 3 to 5 years for the credentials that we create. So after 5 years, we have to update it. We will not remove it, we can update it. That's why this morning Dr. Neena Pahuja mentioned that there are only 4,700 live skills, whereas 3,700 are archived. So they were all archived micro-credential. The moment you create a micro-credential, it's approved by NCVT, it will sit on their MQR. National Qualifications Register, so that others can also look at it. It's in the model of OCW, Open Courseware of MIT, that initiated the whole thing in 1999, 2000. So that principle, that's why she was talking about public micro-credential and private micro-credential. Private micro-credentials are developed by people like Amazon and all these companies create private micro-credentials. Whereas public micro-credentials are created by people with public money, who spend public money. That would include many of us, because we use public funds to create our course program. So the model of selling our SLM, which used to happen, is no longer valid. You can't really sell your SLM to another public university, which we did in the past. Somebody created something, somebody wanted to use it, they paid a license fee, but now it's all open source. They don't call it open source or OER, they call it public micro-credential. So there is a shelf life for the curriculum, but there is no shelf life for the certification, because the certification anyway you are redeeming, no? You are redeeming, and your LinkedIn CV still has what you did 20 years ago. You are not, you are building a history. Now the main difference with micro-credential is, we used to self-attest ourselves. How do we self-attest ourselves? By creating a CV. The CV is our self-attestation. I have falana skills. That's self-attestation, which is complemented by endorsement. Somebody's reference letter. This person worked under my supervision for 3 years, did all these wonderful things, endorsement. Now, this is verification. What you are doing is validation and verification by providing that mudda. So, let's start. Those are private. Self-attestation is private, because I declare, and my friend or my boss also tells. So that's not enough for the employer today. They also want to really test you, and the certification becomes. So a carpenter would come and tell you, or a mason would come and tell you, मेरे को तो सब कुछ आता है ना? Then he would also say, मैंने बगल वाला घर में काम किया. So I also worked in the next your neighbor's house. But that's not enough, no, for us, until he actually puts the brick there and constructs. So that is certification. We see for ourselves. So that's what the universities are expected to have. You see for yourself whether that person has the skills, competence, aptitude, knowledge, and also the demonstrable skills through any other means, OJT or workplace-based outputs that they may have created. So you are gathering evidence on the basis of knowledge, skills, aptitude, which they call mindset, OJT, and others, so that you compile all this and say that, okay, this person has. How does IIT or many of the conventional universities mark people? Even in TNOU, you have a practical component, which is assessment on the basis of assignment. Then they also sit for an exam. So both the components are added. In many places, continuous assessment is added. In schools, then a summative assessment. So same thing you can also practice. So you can assess on the basis of the theoretical knowledge, the practical knowledge, demonstrable knowledge, and the portfolio that this person can build, which is capstone project and others that the modern training delivery that they call. All these are applicable to us. Just that we want to really use what we can basically show. We can't show, of course, we won't be able to. And you can do a lot with employing consultants also to do this job. It's not needed that we need to have. UGC has certain norms. NCVT does not have those norms in a way. आ जाएगा, आएगा, जरूर आएगा, इधर भी आ जाएगा, without even examination. Now let's take the example of NUS. NUS uses something called Gyan AI. Gyan AI is the one that is assessing. Now individuals and professors are not assessing the assignments. Now they have outsourced it to a AI algorithm, company, which basically goes through the substantive, outputs of students, analyzes it on the basis of the rubrics fed to the system, and provides feedback. Now, earlier she was asking you, how do you really measure competence and how do you see the evidence? Now, when you train a machine, it does its job very meticulously by gathering a lot of existing data and learns by itself, but also provides, based on the rubrics, the correct feedback as to saying to the level that your answer is this, but you could have written it this way. Your intention was perhaps this, because I can see that from the way that you built your argument, your intention was this, but somewhere on the way you haven't explained it well enough. You should have done so and so. So you should have brought in. So that level of fluency that people are using in many US universities, and using AI for assessment as well. Let alone even post construction. So there is a kind of a joke that they say that there may not be any teacher tomorrow. AI can be the teacher, AI can be the exam center, AI can come up with its own curriculum and courseware and so on. But anyway, the world is developing, advancing. But that doesn't really, at least my organization doesn't discount teachers' role. Because we see teachers in the loop of AI. Because AI can do as much, but teachers have to train that AI to behave. Otherwise, the AI can also misbehave, right? So, yeah, prompting is the key. And also you can use AI to create a lot of teaching aids today. We are running a project with CBSE now. We are initiating a project where we want to work with a set of school teachers teaching a particular subject at a particular level, say 9th standard physics. We want to look at the existing reading material provided to the students. We want to look at the teaching aids put in the hands of the teachers and all the guideline material, and train the AI system to see if the teachers can now come up with teaching aids, learning aids, not the same aid for the 30 students, maybe personalized for each of the 30 students. Because your learning style and your learning pace and your learning approach may be different from your colleagues who is sitting next to you. So a different learning aid for him, a different learning aid for you, and a different assessment for you and different assessment for him, can the teachers create by using AI as a subservient agent rather than a superior agent. So that's something that we are thinking through, because many large language models need a lot of computing power, also a lot of investment to maintain systems. So we are thinking if we can come up with an alternative open source LLM model which could enable teachers, and if we see some positive results, why not we'll bring it to the higher education level also. But that's something that we are seriously looking into. We have done a small pilot in the Pacific with the University of South Pacific. It worked well for us, but now we want to work with NCRT or CBSE at a school level to work with a cohort of 30 teachers to see if we can train a model. And if it comes out, it could be a good open source model. Many of the companies, the big four companies at least do not have open source model at this point in time. Yeah, so Rama, also you need to slowly, strictly subscribe. Initially they come up for free, then they charge you, and then they subsume you.
Yeah. So if you are smart enough to write even a competency, you can take a help of a Lama or any other ChatGPT. See that it's skill. Then what that exactly is bias anyway biased to this.
Sorry, I'm interrupting, but I wanted to show this just to encourage you to consider collaboration. Okay, read it out. Okay, I did a search on the most employability skills among students, and it says this. What it says is the top 10 employable skills: communication skills, problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration, working independently, self-actualization, leadership, emotional intelligence, digital literacy, time management, flexibility. These are the current flavor of the month. But we don't have to go by this common taxonomy. You know, if you could really think hard and maybe self-elect yourselves for a particular model to develop as micro-credential if you want to. Not as a concrete output, but to practice yourself for creating micro-credential. That's a kind of a training ground. But if it so ends up to be a good qualitative micro-credential, why not? We can bring all those together, package it as a 21st century skills employability program for the students. We can consider that, but I just wanted to show you.
No, that's good. So yeah,
It's done.
that's a very yes, yes. Sir.
No, as she mentioned this morning, Dr. Nina Pakuja, you can take it's preferable to have a micro-credential online, but it doesn't have to. If you're already doing something of this kind, you should continue to do it. So it's just that if you're not doing it, if you're considering a particular, another topic that you want to come up with, you can do so. So nothing that you do currently should change. You should continue to do because you are convinced that that program is part and parcel of your existing program. So you are offering a certificate level course on communication as part of, as a part and parcel of your program. There's nothing stopping you. You will continue to do so. But micro-credential again, like MOOC is a name now, right? But every micro-credential has three characteristics. Every micro-credential has a title. Something like a news article, it has a title. also has a duration. It also has a duration. It also has a credit aligned to it. So credit and duration are relative, but that duration is dependent on the subject matter. So if the micro credential that you have, the name, if say my name is the micro credential, I would have a duration, and you would also have a breadth of what you want to teach. So it's a micro credential on collaboration. So you would decide the breadth of this collaboration as it's dealt with, and you would assign the duration to it. So 8 hours of learning or 16 hours of learning. Then you would define your learning objectives and outcomes, the competencies that you are inculcating. Then you would also come up with an assessment. Then you would package it. Then it becomes a standalone micro-credential. But it can also be part and parcel of a 21st century skills course, or it can also be part of a management course that you might be conducting. Because in the field of management, collaboration becomes important. So you could subsume that course into your MBA program. You could offer it as standalone. You could offer it by bringing other courses and package it differently. So you can have a Haldiram 1700 rupee bouquet and a 300 rupee bouquet, but you could have the same bhujia here and there. So you could place it accordingly as per how you combine credentials.
Asking for the same certificate can be a micro-credential.
Because at this point in time, it's also purpose.
Yeah.
It's part of a program. And they can't use the same micro-credential for twice credentialing. So it's already part of a program, they get credit for that. Now if you have a communications course, which is a part of a program, let that micro-credential outside also and give it standalone for the students who are not taking it. Now, if it is part of your BA history program, give that as an option for your BSc chemistry students. They want to take it, give them credit, the credit whatever is due for them. Either as part of BSc chemistry or as a skill enhancement program on and above their degree credits for what they do.
So we can transfer the credits.
Sir. Yeah, you can provide them credits. So the BSc chemistry person is not taking that course. Wants to take that course, there is nothing wrong in allowing it. But if he is completing a BSc chemistry, but also participating in education, he can provide the extra credit. That analogy is basically to define the duration and the size. But now, if you have, say, a BA program in communication, obviously you would have several facets of communication that you can. There is a generic communication module which not exactly the same as what you are providing for a English communication. You can tailor it.
There are certain courses which are at their homes. So we can suggest our students that they have completed that one, they will get credit transfer so that they need not study again. So if while doing some programs, we are not actually a profession. If we are doing some micro-credential programs, as you said, we can add other courses, we can add some other courses which is students offer. Some of the courses offer the students. It will be my
if you obtain permission for a special BA from RCI, and you are changing the syllabus, yeah, so if you are making any changes, you have to go back to that. If you are not making changes, you don't go back.
Then actually this micro-credential course should be a part of the course.
On and above it. But if you want to subsume it, especially for BA, for other courses, there seems to be a lot of liberty given to the universities. When it comes to BA, there seems, I understand that there are quite a lot of restrictions. And when it comes to special ed, it becomes even more complicated because RCA is involved. So not only NCTE, but RCA is also involved. So you have a little more complex.
Yes, there are a number of sector-specific concepts, like say, for example, media research, and there are good future competitors that they are trying to officer, that kind of emphasis is already available. Yes, we have 10 or 12 years I had used for since 2012. So could we use that and
It's a good question. You know, colleagues,
Yes.
this is a good question what he's asking. What he's asking is if any of the 39 or 38 sector skill councils, 38 sector skill councils has a course at 4.5 level and above, can we use that? Of course you can use it, but there is only one rider. That rider is that you should be an NCVT member, for which you have already submitted your application. Once you are awarded the membership, from day one you cannot take that course. What they have mentioned to us, that as a university you have to develop your own qualification first. Then once they are happy and say that you have the competence to create qualifications, then they will allow you to adopt or borrow. They are existing. Now, first you have to submit your own qualification, at least one qualification, which should be of good standard, that the NCVT committee, the skills committee would look into it, and the moment they are satisfied that you are from which university? Ahmedabad. So if Bob, if they are satisfied that Bob is an agency that is capable of creating qualifications, then you know what is the bonus that you have? 4,700 courses that are waiting. You can take every single course aligned to your market need and take it.
Every SSC is part of the
Every SSC is part of not only 38 sector councils, but there are quite a few other awarding bodies that are also creating courses. So Microsoft, as she was mentioning, has put out courses, Amazon has put out courses, IBM has put out courses, quite a lot of them have put out courses. So then you could perhaps look at your market need. In Ahmedabad, what are all the needs that BOW can address, then you can borrow. But in order for you to do that, you have to demonstrate that you are capable of running your work. So the moment, it's something like adoption agency. When parents go and present themselves, they do a lot of tests, whether you are capable of adopting a child. The moment they are satisfied, then they give you the license to adopt a child. Here they are giving you the license to adopt 4,700 children. You can take any of those based on your geography, because you have the jurisdiction issue. But if it's an online course, fully online, the jurisdiction is not there for you, because you are A++. So you can go global. Category 1, you can go global. So you can take that and give BOW certification for Gujaratis maybe living in Kenya or Leicester or wherever. This Punjab, Sari, Sabko certificate they said, provided you become a category 1 institution, and if it's online. No ODL is permitted for foreigners as of now, but if it's online program, is there. If you are eligible to provide online programs, and as you know, BOW is creating courses online. So there are umpteen possibilities today, what we are studying. What used to be choking us, the UGC stipulations are slowly being removed.
And I'm hopeful that Professor Upadhyaya would influence. So the 13th meeting that we are having is a very critical meeting, because we are uniting all the 17 open universities, wanting to form a consortium of open universities in our country. So there is one voice, that the voice is represented adequately in the power quarters of our country. I think MOE, UGC, ACTE, elsewhere. So any problem, if Kerala faces the problem of private registration, that should be raised as a consortium. So that today it's their problem, tomorrow it could be your problem. You see? So in anticipation of avoiding any problems arising, we should come together as one team. And that's something that we are eager, from Senka's point of view, we are eager to put together a consortium so that we could all have one voice. Application, we'll encourage, because I know last time when we spoke to them, they said only 4 of you have applied. Now, if I understand correctly, more than 4 have applied. But we'll take it up with them, because that's one of the reasons we wanted to have her today, Neena Pahuja, because she and her group only would be scrutinizing your application. Now, slowly we are winning their confidence. It takes time, no, in government.
Next 2-3 months still?
I hope so, because they are in a hurry, we are also in a hurry, and they also want to ensure that the moment they give you the awarding body status, they don't want you to go into cold storage. Some of us can easily go into cold storage, not actually creating courses. Because creating courses for NCBET is going to be very, very complicated. It's nothing like UGC courses. You can cut and paste SLS. Here, there's no cut and paste job. There's no cheating possible with NCBET, because the committee really scrutinizes your qualifications. And the committee would say, yes, there's a new qualification. They've really defined the qualification well enough. They know how to assess, they know how to deliver. They have done their homework in assessing the industrial need, the market demand. They also know how to award. They also know how to link with the marketplace, the outputs, graduates. So that thoroughness they are likely to look into. That's one of the reasons I am eager to put together a regional grouping, so that we can all together learn the art of doing. We cannot become Microsoft overnight. They've invested millions and millions in developing USP, their outputs, their value proposition. We have produced, we have followed the same model for 70 years, 100 years, 200 years. The open university model never evolved over a period of 70, 80 years in many parts of the world. Now we are trying to, using NEP as the conduit, trying to evolve and leapfrog to the next generation. What we were from day one, the only thing that we embraced in between was Gyan Darshan, Gyan Vani, and we have also graduated to also having an LMS. Then the MOOCs came into being. So there is a slow and steady game that we have played. We have taken baby steps. We have not really leapfrogged into the AI world or the technology advanced world. We could have, but a lot of systemic issues stopped us all these days. Added to this is the UGC ODL, OP regulations. Also, and 2 years ago they removed the permission to provide skill courses. UGC in one stroke.
We are allowed to run certificates or kind of doing application degree kind of courses under NCA.
We can introduce LTTs and STTs, because the concept of degree is into credit framework, which is what they explained on 6th of July when they have the meeting with us. Now, see, degree and all these are kind of recognition for quantum of learning. You basically end up issuing a degree, a graduate degree, saying that this person is now a graduate. Now, employers are moving away from recognizing degrees to more recognizing skills. Now, degrees still have a value, because for many jobs they expect at least a degree. But on and above the degree, you also need evidence for skills that you have. So NCVT is encouraging you to do both.
So somewhere BO kind of degree is supposed to be associated with.
Now BWOC they want to really remove because they don't believe in BWOC for some reason. Although some skills still universities are tackling that, but earlier many universities offered BWOC. But now they say that BWOC is an inferior degree. And Dr. Kalsi mentioned that in Punjab if somebody has BWOC, shadi nahi ho raha hai. So that's the analogy he gave. Ye to beti nahi dunga. So BWOC is kind of seemed to be a substandard degree, according to him. I don't know the market value of BWOC.
NCVT and NSDC completely different degree.
Well, NCVT is the regulator. NSDC is a servant. So NCVT is the supervisor or a master or a regulator. But regulator is something like the notion, what is the meaning of minister? Minister. Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of minister? Servant. Servant. Prime Minister is prime servant. इसलिए he often tells Naima Pradhan Sevak. The real meaning of minister is servant. The real meaning of regulator is also facilitator. Now unfortunately regulators when they become really, when they only use stick rather than carrot, then they become village school masters. When they take carrot in their hands rather than stick, then they become facilitators. So we want all the regulators to become facilitators. So NCVT is the facilitator, the regulator, now facilitator. NSDC is the doer. NSDC is nothing different from Bob. Bob and NSDC are at the same level. Just that they focus more on skill certification. In your case, you do more on academic as of now, but could move into skill sooner than later. Because, believe me or not, in 10 years, academic credentials are to be combined with skills credentials. Otherwise, you don't have opportunity to be in the marketplace. You become extremely redundant and irrelevant. And nobody, this current generation changes job every 4.5 years. And certain high-end positions, every 1.5 years people change jobs. So those jamana, where 9 to 5 job, and we went in the same train, had katta kela, all that is gone. We are more like an American society, where every 3 years we have to change our homes. Where they change our base every 3 years. On an average, every American family migrates internally from one state to another every 3 years. So same thing is happening to our children now. They are changing jobs every 4 years. They are not going to be contained. There is no job guaranteed for lifetime. And there is no pension. So you slog, you earn your reward on the basis of your currency. Your currency is skill. Nothing more than that. Your currency is skill. Once upon a time, if you are knowledgeable, that's good enough. But today you have to also have skills. So we are also, all the open universities will change. It won't be the same as it is today. So naturally, I won't really worry much about the private registration in Kerala. The moment you see outside what you are offering, already you are doing that. Now you are offering all innovative degrees. None of the private universities can offer those degrees. None of the private registrations can offer those degrees. If you are talking about nano entrepreneurship or some interesting degrees you have come up with, right? Inclusive entrepreneurship and all that. Which universities provide? So we have to define our own ESP. I think we can't really, our strength is not the weaknesses of our opponents. Our strength is based on our own strengths. It's, we have to become what Vishnu Pokat, what's her name? Vishnu. Huh? Vineet Pokat. We have to become Vineet. On the day we have to play the game and defeat the enemy. That's, we can't really be what Carlos did for Djokovic, we can't do. Djokovic had a knee surgery. He could not move to his one side of in the field. And this Carlos was hitting only looking at the weakness of the enemy. So I think more than looking at the weakness of our competitors, we have to strengthen ourselves. And our strength is in our innovative offerings. The strength is no longer in BA, BSc, MA, MSc programs. The strength is more into employment-oriented, market-ready, just-in-time skilling and deploying them to the workforce so that our USP is visible out there. The employers come running to us rather than we having this crisis of our image and brand and so on. We should build our brand. Consortium of Open University should build the brand. Should demonstrate that we are as good as the UK Open University. There is one there, we are 18 of us here in this country, and we are a force. That's what we should come to, in my opinion. Provided we all create, micro-credential is a good leeway for us. Just-in-time skilling, having beyond 45,000 or 270,000. Think about the 2 million or 400,000. Think about people who are not yet in our circle. That's how we use it.
in all these today's sessions, one thing is really important that we have to consider as developers, course developers, or course writers, as an academician, is about learners' engagement. That is the key. That's what we are going to discuss tomorrow. How we engage our learners as part of our assessments. Okay? So it's now up to you to decide. We'll sit now, and definitely, if you ask me, because I'm always transparent, I need a break. So, though I didn't talk much, but definitely yes, we just need a small break. Learning cannot happen at a stretch, right? So we'll take a small break and then we'll meet somewhere. Ma'am will suggest any time, or you tell me just before dinner or during dinner, after dinner, we'll just sit and then complete it. Or let's do it in a blended mode. Again, somebody wrote how far this workshop is learner-centric, I want to see. So now I'm giving you an option. Shall we do in a blended mode? Where I'll be available to talk? I mean, not a Zoom meeting or anything. It's in the LMS, Learning Management System. There will be they've already provided to you a discussion forum there. Let's all keep discussing over there.
We don't have signals, network issues in the place where we are staying. We are not in the
Not even a 4G? Oh, okay. So, okay, then let me post something, but this is such an excuse, I'll tell you. If this kind of exercise given to me, I'm sorry to put it like this, I will go to the extent where the signal is there, I'll complete it. Okay?
We have tried in certain area of the campus, where we are finding one
Because the beauty of blended is that even you go to Chennai TNOU markets, you can stand there, have a sip of nice coffee, and then do your work even on your mobile. Okay, let me put it this way. I'll put it on the LMS. Let us discuss over there. And tomorrow first, half an hour, we'll mull over on the work you have done today, so that you have enough time. And tomorrow we'll discuss it and we'll talk about the resources and we'll talk about the assessment part. And also let's have some kind of a discussion on every aspect of our, because this is about soft skill. The evidence and the kind of assessment is the key. The engagement is the key. Okay? With this, I want to conclude. Thank you so much for your support, being really a great participant. As Sir said, NCB is a regulator and as a facilitator, I'm your facilitator. Thanks, sir. And
I have a small request to everyone. We have prepared a video. It is assignment, part of the assignment.